We are here today with Anthony Mancuso. Anthony, welcome back to the show. It's been a while.
Hey, thanks, Mike.
Glad to have you here. Today we're going to be talking about a method that I'm pretty excited about. And the reason why is because it kind of goes back to my old days of building niche sites where I built over 750 of these little websites that they kind of all put together would make me money. But it sounds like you've been doing something very different, something that's making you a lot more money than I ever made. And I'm just going to read the headline here on the sales page. It says, former electrician reveals his four-step blueprint for passively averaging $22,000 per month with simple five-page affiliate niche sites that anyone can copy regardless of experience, time constraints, or even budget size. So that's crazy. That's incredible. Bring us into this. What's this all about, and why should we be excited?
All right, great. So what I would say is like about I've been, building these type of sites out for about 7 to 8 years. And in the beginning, I learned how to do it. The way I was taught how to do it was, you kind of build it was kind of basically local lead generation.
Okay.
So whether you're building sites I actually started in the electrician niche, having a background in that field. And
Makes
what would
sense.
happen? Yeah. So what would happen back then is that, I'd build these sites out, rank for these local areas, and then I'd have to sell them. I'd have to, dial for dollars, and I'd be on the phone trying to sell these electricians, hey, I got leads coming through. I got
So you
leads.
like you would rank for that like a certain area electrician, and you would just try to sell that spot to them. So even though it's a lot of work, you have to both rank and you have to call them up.
Yeah, 100%. And that's for me, that's why it wasn't like that method. I know a lot of people make a lot of money with it, but for me, I'm super, introverted. I really enjoy just kind of like staying behind my computer, doing the niche site thing. And so that's why it was a total game changer when I found out about this affiliate pay per calls. So what it is basically instead of, you or I building these niche sites and then having to sell, electricians, HVAC, lawyers, plumbers, dentists, whatever, we can now just, tap into a middleman who says, okay, I'll take your traffic. Here's a phone number, pop it onto your site, and all the users or visitors that come call that number, and then we get paid.
So all you have to do is you make these sites, you rank them in a specific area, and you have a phone number on the site. When someone calls that phone number, you make money.
Yep, that's exactly what it
How
is.
much are you making per call for that on average? Like it must vary by location and by niche.
100%. And yeah, that's a great question. So right now in the niche that I'm focused in, it's anywhere between as low as $4 per call and as high as 120. So like there's a lot of disparity in that. But
Like for a
what I
lawyer,
was
maybe 120. I could see or like plastic surgery. I don't know, something that would pay a lot of money. I
Yeah,
like
well, even actually, like the lawyers are definitely in that price range that you're talking, in the 120 and up. But even in one niche, there's a huge disparity in calls. And this is kind of like a little pro tip that I learned is what they'll have on these networks. You can accept a fixed rate for your phone calls, so where let's say you only get 25 or $50 a call,
mhm.
or you can actually go into rev share. And what I've found across the board is that whenever you do these, if you sign up for rev share, if you test that out, it almost always performs higher. So, basically just to lay that out is, as you said, in different areas, they're going to be worth more. So like a call from Tacoma, Washington might be worth 120. For some reason, my niche, Washington, California, New York, they pay out higher, which I guess is,
Makes
you
sense.
know, yeah, I guess it
I
makes
can
sense.
see
And then,
California and New York. I mean, it's the cost of living's higher, services are going to be higher.
yep, exactly. And then like, depending on which kind of call, what call it is, because even within a niche, there's like, people are calling for different services and that. So like, a call from Alabama would be worth less than California. And then like a call for like, let's say, I don't know, like let's say if it's in the lawyer niche, like someone who has like a big lawsuit on their hands, something, very steep and that's going to pay out a lot, you'll end up getting compensated more for that. So, but okay, so to give you an average, the average is like, my specific niche, the high would be about 120, low is like 480, $4.80. And then right in the middle is where the average is, right around 25 to 50, 25 to $45 per call is what I'm seeing. But that's very niche dependent.
What I love about this, and I was actually talking with Anthony before the call about the kind of money that he was making from these sites. He was like, yeah, some months are better than others. Last month I only made like 17,000 from this. And I'm thinking to myself, man, that's only $17,000 from this is incredible. I mean, and you've got screenshots here on the sales page, all verified. It's like that's a lot of money. And on top of that, you've got sites that you've sold on Empire Flippers. And for anyone that's watching, that I'm sure there are lots of people that know what Empire Flippers are because it's a huge, it's almost, I don't know, Flippa. A lot of people know Flippa, but I feel like Empire Flippers is kind of I don't want to say it's better, but it's a different kind of, it's more like you're selling businesses over on Empire Flippers. And the fact that Justin and Joe, the founders over there that I've actually spoken with, I've interviewed them before, they vet all the different sites. They make sure that if someone says a site is making X amount of money, that it's actually making that kind of money. You've sold sites on there. You sold one of your sites for $280,000, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And you also have another site that is listed, and you've had offers for over 700,000, which I know that I also talked with Anthony about this. He didn't like the deal. They wanted to pay out over a longer time than he wanted to, but you're expecting that site's going to sell for at least 700,000. I mean, you've got almost millions of dollars from these sites. This is incredible, Anthony. I mean, since last time I talked with you, you've blown up. This is great.
Yeah, no, thanks. I appreciate it. And like you said, that's the beauty about these sites is that you can make, even though the income goes up and down, some months can be 30K plus 40K, and then some months can be, 17 or
only
20.
17. Poor
Only. But I mean, the great thing is, like, my time actually spent working over the last few years has went down tremendously. Like, I'm not, hustle, grind with these sites. It's just kind of templatized and following the method that I lay out in the course. So
no, I could see someone watching right now and going, okay, great for him. He's done this, but how replicable is this? Like, are people watching this right now? If they're like, okay, I want to build sites like that, how like realistic can they build a site? Let's not even say $20,000 a month. Let's say building a site that was making $1,000 a month. How difficult would it be for them to create a site like that?
yeah, it's not difficult, and I know as I'm saying it, I know it's hard for me to say that, and people are going to still think, oh yeah, well, it's probably hard, or it's not, going to be easy for me. But the reality of it is that I'm not a techie guy at all. Like, and you'll be able to see that when you see me behind the scenes. Like, for those of you that buy the course and see me putting the website together, I actually don't usually build them myself. So, and I'm doing it in the course.
Mm-hmm.
So they're super simple, super simple to build. It's templatized, and in the course, it's basically like follow over my shoulder, like do this, next step, do this. It's not complicated at all, and I'm definitely not a techie guy, so I think anyone can do it.
Is this about creating lots of sites, or is it about creating like one or two or three like big sites? Is it the authority niche type thing, or the like little mini niche site type thing?
Yeah, that's a good question too that I get a lot, and it's the authority. It's the authority method 100%, and that's how I was shown how to do it. I mean, I've done both. I've done just a lot of small sites, and then when I switched over to start to focus all my attention on kind of like one authority site, that's when everything started to change, because it's like, every single thing that you're doing to the site, all things are working towards the middle. Every single piece of content that you build, you're building an entity that's going to be there long term. And even if you look at the way that Google is going, I mean, you can look at, big sites like Angie or Home Advisor or Thumbtack or whatever big site and whatever niche you're in, they're the ones being rewarded, and they're the ones that Google wants to move. Not trying to say that I can read Google's mind and know what they think, but that's where we're moving more towards, is these be able to have these bigger sites, authoritative sites that can just dominate, you know?
As far as expenses go, I'm assuming you have to buy a domain name and you have to get
Yeah.
hosting. What other kind of expenses do people need to do paid ads? What's going on? What's going on with that?
Okay, so on that end of things, everything is going to be based off of free traffic. So there's no ads, but you're right. You do have to, you've got to buy your domain name. You
Hmm.
have to have hosting. Um, depending on if you want to write the content yourself, you can either write the content yourself or you can outsource it, and I show you how to do that in the course. And
Did you
I
write
don't,
it in the beginning yourself, or did you always outsource it? I'm assuming you outsource it now because you're making money, but
no,
did
I've always outsourced it.
always outsource it? Okay.
Yeah. And the reason for that is because, and I show this in the course too, the quality of writers that I use, it's like I don't have to spend a lot. Like they're good writers, but you can use writers from the Philippines. You can use different writers on iWriter, and it's not expensive, for the content that I use. It ends up being around, I'd say, anywhere from 20 to 35, maybe $40 per piece of content. And so,
Could
okay,
you
so you
could you
have,
potentially use like ChatGPT to
oh,
do that for you?
definitely, and that's something like, as far as the upgrades, there's actually going to be, an AI writer or chat GPT, you
Hmm.
could use that as well. But, that's a different field that's a different avenue that people can go down nowadays, which when I started or when I was, got started doing this, it wasn't available. So,
In your experience, if you wanted to get a site making like its first $100, how long do you think it would take you to do that? And I'm not saying we're guaranteeing everyone that they're gonna get it because it's impossible to do that. But how long do you think it would take for you to get a site to start making its first $100?
so I'd say, I mean, it's not an overnight thing. I'd say
Mhm.
take about a few weeks, to
Okay,
start to make its first few $100, and then, things just kind of snowball from there. But it would take a few weeks.
I think that's pretty reasonable. It's not like you're saying you have to wait 6 months for it to
Right.
happen. Cool. Love it. Okay. So if someone's interested in picking this up, what exactly are they going to get on the front end, like with the product that they purchase on the sales page? And then we'll walk through the OTOs.
All right. So on the front end, it's the main training course. There's about 5 modules, plus bonus videos, and anywhere between maybe 35 to 40, anywhere from 30 to 40 videos. I'm not sure exactly how much, but that's the main course. All the training is included, that you need, and then there's optional upgrades that that you can get into as well. Which on the OTO number one, like you said, Mike, in a couple years ago, I flipped one of these sites for
Hmm.
280,000, and then I've got one up listed right now for over 700,000. So in OTO one, you're going to get more information on that. That's going to be all about flipping these niche sites for 6 figures.
Okay.
What you need to do, what you need to be aware of, what to do, what not to do, some pro tips. Um, and then there's also going to be on the OTOs, there's going to be some software that's going to help automate some of this stuff. So there's going to be like, as you mentioned, there's, about using AI content. There's going to be, an AI content writer that you can use to kind of supplement so you don't have to hire writers. There's going to be a press release software. We've got just different things to automate it.
Yeah, I know you've partnered with Joshua Zamora, a good friend of mine, who's got high quality tools. So he's set up some extra tools to make things a little bit easier for us. So those are going to be optional upgrades there. I know you guys are going to have a webinar, pre-launch webinar for anyone that wants to sign up for that. You want to learn more and see some more examples of whatnot of how this all works. If you guys want to sign up, you can sign up below and check that out. But other than that, Anthony, is there anything else, anything that we missed, anything you wanted to mention before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's it, Mike. I think that we covered everything.
Cool. Awesome. Well, again, congratulations on your success. I mean, these are amazing sites that you've been creating, and best of luck with your launch.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate it.